Hey guys, and welcome back. Well, today we will uncover shocking allegations surrounding Wendy Williams. Now, there's a new lawsuit claims her guardian isolated Wendy and failed to protect her. Now, let's dive into this unfolding drama. But first, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Now, let's get into the story. Now, in a recent development, the producers of the Lifetime Docuseries about Wendy Williams have filed a lawsuit alleging that her guardian, Sabrina Morrisey, isolated and failed to protect the troubled star. Now, the lawsuit comes amid an ongoing legal battle between the two parties over the documentary, Where is Wendy Williams? Now, the producers of that documentary claim that Morrissey deliberately isolated Williams from her friends, family, and legal counsel, leaving her vulnerable and unable to make informed decisions. Now, they also allege that Morrissey failed to address Williams' deteriorating health and substance abuse issue, despite being aware of her struggles. Now, in response to the lawsuit, Sabrina Morrisey has denied the allegations, stating that she acted in Williams' best interests and that the documentary was exploitive and harmful to her health. Now, the lawsuit has reignited a debate about the role of guardians and the ethical responsibility of media companies in covering the stories of vulnerable individuals. Now, some people argue that the guardian has a duty to protect their wards from exploitation, while others argue that the media company had a right to tell the stories of public interest, even if they are controversial are sensitive. Now, the outcome of the lawsuit remains to be unseen, but it's clear that the controversy surrounding Wendy Williams' health and well-being is far from over. Now, let's analyze this. Now, Wendy Williams was diagnosed with alcohol-related brain damage back in 2019 during a rehab stint in Florida. Now, an insider explained that a brain scan was done as a part of Wendy's rehab stay. And a neurologist at that time sat down with Wendy, her son, and her then husband, Kevin Hunter Sr. Now, the doctor explained to them that Wendy was suffering from alcohol-related brain damage. They told her that her alcohol abuse had done permanent damage to the layers in her brain. This is what the insider claimed. Now, she was warned then and there that if she continued to drink, the damage would only get worse. Now, in that meeting, they gave Wendy that devastating prognosis. Now, the doctors at the rehab foretold of the eventual decline of Wendy's cognitive abilities, which have become apparent to those who have come in contact with the star in recent years. They told her that if she kept drinking, she would continue to grow more forgetful, and the star wouldn't remember people's names, and eventually she could forget who people even were. Now, this is what the source told the U.S. Sun. Now, keep up with me. We know a little bit later after this, Wendy filed for divorce from her husband, who had gotten a baby out of wedlock to a woman that he was going with. And so at that time, she got her divorce. Now, a little after that, it was apparent that something was wrong with Wendy. Even fans knew that something was wrong with Wendy. And at that time, Wendy was taken off of her popular, iconic talk show, and other celebrities filled in for her. And we were told that she was ill. Now, after it was apparent that Wendy wasn't able to come back to her iconic talk show, the producers later fired her. That's what they did. They fired her. And they put another talk show, as we know, the Sherri Shepherd show, in place of her. Not long after that, her bank, Wells Fargo, took it upon themselves to say that she was being exploited by her son. And they appointed a court-ordered guardian by the name of Sabrina Morrisey. And her position was to take care of Wendy as far as her health-wise, take care of her financially, mentally, and physically. So at that time, they took her away from her son who was caring for her and put her in an apartment in New York and isolated her. This is what the lawsuit is saying, the documentary series. Well, okay. Back to the documentary. All right. At the time, they had taped the show and they were about to air the show on A&E. Wendy's guardian wanted to stop the documentary's release because it made her look bad. Now, thus, it appears that Sabrina Morrisey is misusing her position as a guardian of Wendy to silence criticism of her controversial and failed administration of Wendy's guardianship. Now, this is what the docuseries producer Lifetime is alleging. Now, they also allege that Wendy's own family members also saw the documentary before it aired in early February of 2024, and that they approved its content and supported its release. And they noted that several members of Wendy's family gave press interviews to promote the documentary. And a couple of those family members was her sister and her son. Now, don't you know, if they thought that something was wrong with that documentary, that it exploited Wendy, they would have not confirmed and went along with that documentary showing. Now, the family, after seeing the documentary, they realized that, hey, Wendy is not being cared for properly. Now, even in the documentary, when Wendy's own niece came to see her, you could hear the producers ask the niece, have you been in her refrigerator? And the niece said, no, I haven't. And he said, well, go look in there. There's no food in there.
What?
And also this documentary showed that no one was there with Wendy. Wendy had gotten very thin, and we saw her on multiple times drinking like a fish. Yeah, So this is what the documentary people are saying. Now, like I said, before this documentary aired, Sabrina Morrisey took it upon herself to try to stop it. And she sued the documentary, the producers of the documentary, saying that, it exploited Wendy and we don't want it to show. But the producers of the docuseries are saying, you're mad because it shows that you ain't doing your job. You didn't know where Wendy was. You didn't know if Wendy was eating. You didn't know Wendy sneaking off in the middle of the night, calling a taxi cab to go to a liquor store and a smoke shop in New York. You see how dangerous that was. So, now, not only did A&E file suit against Miss Morrisey, Entertainment One also sued the company. The company says in the suit that they paid Wendy approximately $400,000 for her participation by way of her company, the Wendy Williams Experience Incorporated. Now, Entertainment One argued that once Wendy's guardians saw that the docuseries would raise serious questions about Wendy's care and treatment under the guardianship, and that What was shown was going to make Sabrina's own conduct and subject of scrutiny. She served a temporary restraining order seeking to block its release. Now, the production company also said they believe the documentary captures a raw, honest, and unfiltered window into Wendy's life after she was placed under guardianship, showing how her authenticity still shined even as she struggled with her loss. Now, also, Creature Films placed a lawsuit against Morrisey. Meanwhile, Creature Films counterclaimed with company president Mark Ford. They denied that the documentary raked in anywhere near millions of dollars in profit, because that's what Sabrina Morrisey and her suit said, that, they raked in all these millions of dollars in profit. But now the counterclaims for Lifetime and A&E and Creature Films, as well as Entertainment One with Mark Ford, are all seeking to recoup their costs and attorney fees. They are also seeking any other monetary damages from Wendy's guardian. Now, as you know, we recently heard from Sabrina Morrisey, Wendy Williams' guardian, that now Wendy is fully and permanently incapacitated. Yes. So we know that the family still haven't gotten control over Wendy. She's still under this guardian, which I agree. A&E, Entertainment One, I agree with the lawsuit, the counter lawsuit, because I feel that Wendy Williams' guardian isolated her from her family, left her largely alone and unattended in her apartment, exacerbated her self-destructive behavior and mental decline, and failed to prevent her use and or abuse of alcohol. And that is what A&E and the others have filed this lawsuit, and I do agree with them. I wholeheartedly agree with them. And at this point, when I heard the guardian was still over Wendy, I'm like, wait a minute, how could she? Because I agree with them. That documentary showed that Wendy was alone, and we even heard from her close friend that Wendy has nothing in her bank account now. We found out that Wendy was homeless. Sabrina Morrisey, her guardian, had sold her New York penthouse. And Wendy is living in a facility, and for a long time, I know when they did the documentary, the sister and Wendy's son said that they didn't know where she was. That's why they named the documentary, Where is Wendy Williams? Where is Wendy Williams? Did the family ever find Wendy Williams? I don't know. Wendy Williams' sister is a lawyer, but I kind of feel like they're unable to fight I call it Illuminati, I'll call it what you want to, but you would think, okay, Wendy has family members. Why did they have to, and the bank of all people had the authority to stop her funds and put her under a court-ordered, guardian? I mean, who does that? When does a bank tell you when you can get your money out of there and who to put over your money? That is wild. And now this poor woman, because of the mismanagement of the guardian, is permanently disabled. Wow. I tell you. And it's sad to say, guys, y'all might beat me up. Y'all might say, oh, don't say that. I am going to say it. Now, I, for one, don't like Kevin Hunter Sr. I think what he did to Wendy was just awful. Just, having this outside woman and bring and fathering a child with her, and had her put up down the street, not too far from Wendy's home, so that he put her up in a nice home so that he could play daddy over there and at home. I do not agree with how Kevin Hunter treated Wendy Williams. But I must say this. When she was getting that divorce, Kevin Hunter said, "You're going to see who kept Wendy in line, who kept Wendy from going to work every day. You're going to see that." And when they got that divorce, that's when the vultures came down on Wendy Williams. I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to bite my tongue, but I think she would have been better off with Kevin. Kevin was there. While Kevin was there, that kept the vultures away. When Kevin left, that was the decline of Wendy Williams. And I know mentally that took a lot on her, and I know that that mental abuse that he did, and it's allegedly physical abuse she got from Kevin, may have started her decline. But while Kevin Hunter, her husband, was there with her, he kept the vultures away. Time she got that divorce, there went the show, there went Wendy, there went the control, they got her where they wanted her. And when she could no longer produce, and we've seen this in a lot of entertainers, Whitney Houston to name a few, when they get down to where the cash cow can not produce that cash, something happens to them. Something happens to them. Sometimes it's death, and in Wendy's case, it's total disability. But wow, this woman made millions and millions of dollars. And for a bank to come and say, "Hey, we're going to put a freeze on your money." Even Wendy was going on her social media platform saying, they have taken my money. I cannot get my money, And even on the documentary, she even said that if this could happen to me, it could happen to you. Well, guys, knowing that, I got some questions to ask you. Now, knowing that Lifetime and A&E have sued Wendy Williams' guardian, how do you feel about it? Do you feel that she was exploited by the makings of this documentary, that like Sabrina Morrisey, the guardian, is saying that it was just pure exploitation of Wendy Williams? Or do you agree with Lifetime and A&E saying that, yes, no, this docuseries did not exploit Wendy, but actually it showed that the guardianship isolated Wendy from her family, left her alone and unattended in her apartment, and they are responsible for her self-destructive behavior and mental decline because they failed to prevent her from the use and abuse of alcohol. So I'm going to leave that to you. What y'all think? All right, guys, that's it for me. Thank you so very much for watching, and I hope you will like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And as always important, be blessed, y'all.